Welcome back to Foundry Talks. Today I'm joined by Lia Carhartt, Director of Marketing at Alisal Ranch in Santa Ynez, California. Lia brings a purpose-led approach to branding and guest experience, one that's deeply human, highly intentional, and rooted in place. In this conversation, we explore what it means to build a centered brand, why consistency always isn't the goal, and how to create emotional resonance through every touch point. Let's get into it. Welcome back to Foundry Talks. I'm Rachel Stoyanovsky, and today I am joined by Lia Carhartt, who is the Director of Marketing for Alisal Ranch in Santa Ynez, California. So Lia, welcome to Foundry Talks. We're so excited to have you with us.
Thank you. Excited to be here.
Yeah. So for listeners who may not know, I'd love it if you could just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your role at Alisal Ranch.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm Director of Marketing at Alisal. If you haven't heard of it, we're an incredible 10,500 acre ranch, literally just minutes outside of downtown Solvang. We are family owned. We've been open since 1946, 73 guest cottages, golf courses, over 100 horses. Honestly, just an incredible place to travel, whether it's with your loved one, whether it's with your family. We're just this really unique property where there's just something for everybody.
Yeah, and I can attest to that. It is truly magical. It feels not like you're stepping back in time, but just that you're stepping away from the city, but you still have all the modern conveniences and things. And it's amazing. So love that.
Yeah.
So how would you really, other than what it is, how would you really describe the spirit of Alisal? Because I think that is something that is so unique and that you guys tap into so well, and why your marketing feels so effective and different than what we see traditionally.
Yeah, there's this like absolute feeling of nostalgia being at the ranch. You have to keep in mind, a lot of our guests are coming from the city. They're coming from LA, and they're only traveling 2 hours, but it feels like you're going a million miles away and back into time, like back into just a simpler time where they can just let their kids run around and they're making friends with other families. There's just the spirit of Alisal is just all like authenticity, nostalgia, family, simpler times, just like bringing it back to basics.
I love that. I would imagine that a lot of your guests are repeat guests that come with their families year after year.
Yeah. It's it just becomes a family tradition. I mean, once you come, you're like, wow, this place is magical. I mean, often it's like the best kept secret. We don't want it to be that good of a secret. But we have families who've been coming for 50 years. Whether they come, some people come the same week every single year, stay in the exact same rooms. And it's been that way since they were a little kid.
Yeah, I love that. So you've been with the property for a pretty good length of time now. Obviously you love it, but what was it that really made you decide, okay, I can see myself, like, I know I'm going to be here for the long haul. This place is something special.
Yeah, I remember when I was interviewing and then started talking to other people that worked there. There were people who'd been in their job longer than I'd been alive. And
Wow.
That's not super the norm for hotels.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's one of those places, I always say this, there's a lot of heart and soul in what we do. Everyone really believes in the spirit of Alisal and what we're doing and why we're there. And all of the employees, like, we love being there. You pull into work, it's gorgeous. You're with really happy guests. I think for me, it was like, you kind of feel like you're part of a family, like you're in the Alisal Club. Once you've drank the Kool-Aid, you're like, I get it.
Yeah. I love that. It's funny. We've talked a lot about, especially in this industry, how there is high turnover and how it can be hard to really, like, how do you infuse that or excite your team to get excited to provide that kind of service and to drink the Kool-Aid, And what do you think it is that really contributes? Is it that it's family owned and operated and just that
Mm.
they've been there for so long and everyone that comes in kind of sees those longstanding team members as kind of a mentor? Or
Mhm.
can you even describe it in words?
I think there's a lot of different things, honestly. Some of it is really just the magic of the ranch. It's family owned.
Mm,
Our owners are just really good people. I mean,
yeah.
they're so involved with philanthropic efforts in the Santa Barbara County. You've probably seen their name, you know,
Yeah.
all over. They're doing great things. So it feels good when you're working really hard to know who you're working hard for and to
Mm,
know, it's not this big corporation. It's it's all about, these owners care so much about preserving the land and preserving the tradition of what Alisal is and
yeah.
that experience that guests get. And at the end of the day, that's what's most important to them. So, you feel good about what you're doing. The other bit,
Yes.
this is a little bit less romantic. But the other bit is we live in a small town.
Yeah.
So there's only so many job opportunities in the area. And this is an incredible employer. They take really good
Yeah.
care of their employees. So it, I mean, once you're here, it's a really good option. We're not
Yeah.
dealing with a lot of young college students who are, just trying to grow their career and moving from one place to place. We're looking for people who are a little bit more settled and,
Yeah.
have a family of their own. So
Yeah.
there's a little bit of both.
I love that. Yeah, I think there are certain places, and I've worked for some where you just feel like that is this family,
Mhm.
and however hotels can work to create that, it makes such a difference in how your team shows up and the experience they're giving to guests. And I think guests can really feel it. They probably
Oh
feel
yeah.
like, oh, I see the same person every year I come. Like my family has gotten to know them. I know their
Mhm.
story. And so it's not just a connection to the place, which I'm sure they all have, but a connection to the people as well. And I think
Yeah.
that's like the magic.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, we send out guest surveys at every departure, and every single survey, they're mentioning staff members by name.
That's amazing.
Courtney made this trail ride incredible for my daughter. My daughter was scared of
Yeah.
horses, and you changed her life. Primo had our coffee every morning with a smile. Like, I've been to a
That's
million hotels and
amazing.
I didn't know anyone's name, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. I know that the way that they can tap into that emotional connection with guests is just awesome.
It's huge. And I mean, that's part of our brand, and it's part of what makes us who we are. Alisal would
Yeah.
not be what it is if we didn't have the incredible staff that we had, you
Yeah.
know?
That's amazing. And just recognizing that, I think that's
Mhm.
a big step too.
Yeah.
I was just on a podcast a week ago and they were asking, how can you really get your team's buy-in or some creative ways that you can implement things, to make it feel more connected. And I said, play into
Mhm.
your team's strengths. I'm sure that
Mhm.
there's people that are on your team that have really incredible talents and you can build stories or
Mhm.
activations around what they can do, especially where you've got experiences like trail riding and, all those things. Really telling their story is a
Yeah.
super amazing way to do that as well.
Yeah. I love that play into their strengths. It's so true.
Yeah.
Everyone has something really special to give, and just knowing where to put each person.
Yeah, exactly. I love that. So, being there for as long as you have, how has the story of Alisal evolved? Or do you feel like it really has stayed true to its roots and its heritage, and you guys have just kind of shifted marketing campaigns or marketing efforts? Or what would you say that you've seen in your time there?
Yeah, that's a really good question. The most important thing to us is to not lose sight of who we are. And
Yeah.
like, we have that story. We have a lot of history. We're not one of those brands where we're like, since 2004.
Right.
So one of the main things for us has just been to really like further establish ourselves in the luxury segment.
Yeah.
Um, that I would say we started that with a brand refresh, just
Hmm.
across the board, logo, website, then it
Hmm.
was photography rollout.
Yeah.
Um, and then going through to our team members. Like, here we are at our core. We don't want to lose it. We just
Yeah.
want to like level up a little bit. We're playing JV and we want to get to varsity.
Yeah.
So let's fine tune just a little bit. We don't want to be saying Mr. and Mrs. Like we're still a dude ranch at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And we didn't want to lose that. But I'd say the biggest thing, it wasn't changing who we are, what we're doing. It was just fine tuning it and just elevating it.
Yeah. Yeah. Can you talk us through a little bit about that process of doing a brand refresh? I know we'll have listeners who are like, wait, where do we start? Or any recommendations of having gone through that process, things to keep an eye on or keep in mind when planning that?
Yeah. I mean, one of the biggest things is who your branding agency is. You're working with people who really understand who you are. Have them stay out at the property.
Yeah.
Have them just like, they need to get it. They need to get who you are.
Yeah.
And also, you need to understand who you are. I think at the end of the day, like your brand is your foundation and you're building your marketing. Your marketing is your home and you're building off of that. So if you're not really clear at the end of the day on who you are, you'll kind of start to veer off in the wrong way. So once we're able to really land down that foundation, which again, we weren't changing anything, we were just kind of fine tuning and elevating.
Yeah.
Everything we built off of that, you could feel really confident about. Like that's true to us. That aligns with us and what we're doing.
Yeah.
So again, I think for us, it's make sure you've got an agency that really understands you. And then make sure you're all really clear on the brand and the vision. And like from there, like that's where then you get to make the magic.
Yeah.
I think also when, for us, the tricky part for us doing a brand refresh, again, with us being such a historic property, was we don't want to lose sight of the bits that make us special. How do we take these? We want to make it a little bit more luxury, but we're not trying to pretend we're a Ritz-Carlton, and we don't want to lose sight of what people love about us.
Yeah.
There's things
maintaining that approachability.
Yes. Yeah. So it it was, I don't want to say it was a challenge because that kind of has a negative connotation. It was actually a really fun project to be a part of. How do we stay true to who we are and just kick it up a gear?
Elevate it a bit.
Yeah.
I love that. It's such good advice. And we like to say that too. We don't want to just come in and just scrap what you're doing and say, okay, it's 2025. Here's what we're going to do. All new, all fresh.
Mm-hmm.
You have to stay true to your roots, your heritage. And, if something has really worked and resonates with your guests, then leave that and just tweak it. Like you said, I love that. Right. So it doesn't need to be an overhaul, but just a little elevation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Love it. Okay. So switching gears a little bit to the guest experience. So Alisal just has such a rich sense of place. And that's something that we suggest to clients and that you can really feel as guests is when a hotel or a travel brand is able to really infuse the destination and create that strong sense of place. So how do you do that across all the different guest touch points?
Like in a million different ways.
Yeah. Okay. Your favorite ways that you infuse a sense of place.
Oh my gosh. It's like in everything you do. Some of the things we do to instill a sense of place, whether it's, I don't know, for us, there's so much focus on the land where we are. Yeah. The way we describe it is like, here it's what California once was and always will be. So we really try to lean into that, whether, it's through visuals for marketing, or whether it's through product. Like we just made a shampoo and conditioner line that's all based on plants that you would find around the property.
Amazing.
It's like working with local farmers. There's like so many little bits we do all along the way to establish that, whether it's touch points in the room where it's historic pictures of the property or old, Western antiques, we're trying to weave that through our storytelling at every touch point, honestly.
Yeah.
When you're
Yeah.
here, through our
I love that.
marketing. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I love that you guys just created your own bath amenities and infused local products in them. That's amazing. I'm sure that there's a lot of other things like that that you do.
Yeah.
Any other examples like that that are a little bit more of like a physical product that you could
Mhm.
tie into for anyone that's listening to like maybe spark ideas of something that they could do for their property?
Yeah. And I mean, that was our GM's idea. I forget, maybe it was 2 years ago when California said you couldn't, you know,
The reusable, or
yeah,
they had to be reusable, not
yeah,
single use.
yeah. And
Yeah.
so we were looking at all these different brands. What brands do we align with? And at the end of the day, she's like, let's make our own brand, um,
Amazing.
which was really fun. We worked with someone, they were out foraging the land and,
I
we're
love
taking these plants and smelling them and like, you know, which of these scents feels really Alisal. We're working with Hollister on a vermouth. We're
Mm.
developing a honey. Um, there's a scented candle. What else do we do that's product wise?
I'm assuming a lot of the food and beverage offerings just naturally have that infused in the menus and
Yeah. I mean, we're so fortunate with where we are. We're surrounded by
yeah.
incredible farms. So being able to provide seasonal and local produce, vegetables, we tie that in as much as we can. I mean, I was eating a salad there the other day with little Gaviota strawberries, and
I
just
love
like
it.
capturing Central Coast is so nice. In
Yeah.
our in room, one of the welcome amenities is a welcome bottle of wine, and we partner with local wineries, and we create an Alisal label for it, but we're using Oxen's Pinot or Marjorum's Rosé. So we're always pulling local. Um, yeah,
I love that. I think that's where guests feel that you can just strengthen that connection even more. And I think I've noticed that guests, they appreciate that a lot too, especially in with wine. They'll have
Mhm.
something there, and then if they go out for the day and do wine tastings or something, like, oh yeah, we had that. You guys partner with Elsa where I'm staying, and it's just furthering that connection and making it so full circle, which is just such a really neat thing that you're able to do. I love that.
Yeah, I think those little touch points. Some people don't get it. So you kind of have to put
Yeah.
your marketing hat on, but those little touch points, having like a
Yeah.
beautiful pen in the room, having a beautiful
Mhm.
postcard that they can send home, um,
Yeah.
you know, your paper cup that they drink their coffee in the morning. Like, is that an Instagram moment? Like, I just think those
Yeah.
little teeny touch points make such a huge difference.
Yeah. We talk a lot about how sometimes those are so subconscious. Like
Hmm.
you probably don't, even as a guest, you probably wouldn't recall and say, oh yeah, well, they had this really cool quote on their coffee cup, or they had this
Hmm.
really amazing postcard, but it just builds. And instead they say,
It
oh,
does.
I had an incredible experience. I felt
Hmm.
like it was so personalized, and I felt
Hmm.
like I was really escaping. And
Yes.
that's how you achieve that.
Yes, I'm totally with you. And it's funny because when I travel, it's like I notice all of those little things that someone is
Yeah.
doing. And it like you said, it adds up, it kind of compounds.
Yeah.
And I think it's so important.
Yeah. Agreed. So one of the things that I've always been so impressed with Alisal is just your programming and the events and the activations that you put on. They're just incredible. So how
Mhm.
do you dream up experiences like that that feel fresh and that a modern day consumer or guest is going to be interested in, but
Mhm.
still stay authentic to who you are?
Mhm. Yeah, it's it's often a collaboration. Different people on the team will bring
Mm-hmm.
together different ideas. We've had really strong culinary programming, like our barbecue boot
Yeah.
camp. I think, gosh, maybe it's probably been over 12 years now that we've been offering it.
And
Um,
that's coming up, or it just happened? Remind me.
we just had the Barbecue University with Stephen
Oh,
Reichlin.
okay. That's what I was
Our
thinking.
barbecue boot camp is in May. So we
Okay.
bring in guest chefs, and we're always trying to come up with fresh new ideas each year because we have a ton of repeat guests for that. But one of the programs we've introduced, it's been really successful, and we've kind of been able to build off of it. It's one of our women's retreats.
Mm.
Um, so we have a women's retreat, and then people saw that program and wanted to bring in their retreat. So we have one that's riding specific. We have one that's equine therapy. So at the end of the day, as I said, like having our brand be our foundation and our North Star, as long as these programs align with us and, what resonates with our guests, we're always open to trying new programming. There is a little bit of a trial and error.
Yeah.
We've had it before where we were like, this is a good idea. And it wasn't. Generally, we've had a ton of success with these programs, or what we call experiences. There's more and more travelers that are looking for a curated experience. They want to come to Alisal, and you've kind of built out this incredible curated itinerary for them that they just kind of get to plug and play. Or honestly, what's been really interesting is the marketing of these experiences. I don't know if it's just the way we're getting the messaging out, but it's just brought in bookings, even just for a standard leisure stay, just kind of inspiring them. Or we've had corporate clients being like, wow, I love this women's retreat that you're doing. I want to do some of that, but for my company.
It's amazing.
So it's been fun. It's fun to get creative and come up with different ways for people to experience a property.
I love that. And it's inspiring that people are having such a great experience that then they're like, okay, how can I come back here? Like, can I bring my team? This is amazing. I want to do this again. I want other people to experience it.
Yeah. And it also, the programming allowed us to showcase Alisal in different ways. Like it's not just for families. It was a way for us to, reach out to solo travelers. It's been a way through romance retreats for us to reach out to couples. We've had wellness weekends. It's just showcasing the different aspects of the property. And that's been great because it's helped us reach new audiences, but also it's helped with repeat guests who are like, oh, wait a second. I never thought of that. I'm going to come back to Alisal like without the family. I'm going to bring my girlfriend. I'm going to go with my mom. So it's been a lot of fun.
That's amazing. So outside of the women's retreat that you said was really popular, are there any other programs or initiatives that have just really resonated with guests?
See, women's retreats has been really big.
How about festive? I feel like that's always a time of year where people get excited for holiday traditions and all of that.
Yeah. For us, we, if you're looking at December, for example, and mainly just over the Christmas timeframe, we always knock it out of the park. It's just a magical time to be at the ranch. It's all decorated. Everyone gets a gingerbread house in their rooms. For us, we've been having to think about, how do we sell the rest of December? How do we sell the first Tuesday while the kids are still in school? And unlike other ranches in our comp set, which have sleigh rides and snow, we're a little challenged because we don't have seasonality in the same way that they do. But one of the programs that we just launched and it's already selling so well is a Hanukkah dinner with the guest chef, Suzanne Tracht.
Amazing.
And we only just started putting any effort behind it, and we're just watching rooms sell. So
that's incredible.
I think for us, what did they say? Build it and they will come. But just coming up with fresh, fresh ideas. Like we're going to have a beautiful Hanukkah dinner, and there's menorah candle making. Come on and join us, or we're going to do horseback rides, and our wrangler is going to be dressed as Mrs. Claus, and your kid gets to take pictures. So just staying creative, staying relevant, and getting the messaging out.
Yeah. So when you're coming up with these, is this, you talked about this being a little bit more collaborative with different team members. Sometimes they bring ideas to the table. From like a marketing perspective, is there any type of research that you're leaning into when looking for what people are going to find interesting? Or is that just from experience traveling yourself and just being really familiar with the region that we're in?
A little bit of both. I mean, we work with a great strategic consultant, and she definitely brings to the table, here's travel trends.
Yeah.
We had a menopause retreat, like a midlife focused women's retreat. And
Yes.
that was based on some articles that we were reading that this is a big travel trend. So
Yeah.
I would definitely say it's collaborative, but also, like we travel and looking around like what inspires us and again aligns with the
Yeah.
brand.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't launched it yet, but we're going to do these candlelight dinner series. I was seeing all these candlelight
Mm.
concerts. I was like,
Yeah.
those are really pretty. Why don't we
Yeah.
just flood the dining room with candlelight and have this amazing winter dinner series? And then I just have to get the
Amazing.
operational buy-in. And
Yeah.
here we go.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
I think that that's a question that we get asked often, is just how to come up with the things. And so I love
Mhm.
your take on just kind of being a traveler yourself and paying
Mhm.
attention to what you're seeing and then thinking, how could this maybe work for us while still staying true to who we are?
Mhm.
And then partnering with a strategic partner. I mean, that's always
Mhm.
great when you can be, I feel like that's almost like kind of like a gut check. Like, hey, I saw this and we think this could be really cool, but let it like, just check me on that. So
Yeah.
that's awesome
Yeah.
that you're
And
able to do that.
I mean, it's a balance, right? Like we're we're the creatives. We're coming up with all these ideas.
Yeah.
Operations might say, "No, I can't execute." Sometimes
Yeah.
they really can't. Other
Yeah.
times, I just have to be like, give them a little nudge, like, "Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
can we compromise a little bit here?" Um,
Yeah.
but for us, I just feel like throw the ideas out there. Just keep coming up with stuff. Keep trying
Yeah.
something. Keep trying something new and see what
Yeah.
sticks. You know.
Yeah. Well, you perfectly teed up my next question,
Ooh.
which was that brand consistency can be no small feat, especially when you're dealing with the operations. So,
Mhm.
how do you bring operations into that and kind of get their buy in to help you really execute all the fun ideas that marketing tends to come up with?
The fact that you use buy-in, like that's the perfect term there.
Yeah.
I actually got the feedback from our assistant GM. He was like, let the operational team feel like they're part of it too. Not
Mm-hmm.
that we've come up with an idea and we're telling you to do it. We're just telling you to
Mm-hmm.
execute. Bring your idea to a meeting. Call in some of the managers and say, I'm going to use an example. Hey, we're
Yeah.
coming up with December festive programming. Here's some of my ideas. What are some of your ideas? So
Yeah.
make everyone feel like they have ownership in it.
Mm-hmm.
Explain, why are we doing this? Like, do they think I'm
Yeah.
just trying to spend money for fun?
Yeah.
No. Guys, this is where our occupancy is at. This is my goal. We need to push it to here.
Yeah.
Like help help me help you. Let's
Help you kind of, yeah.
how can we all do that together? But that was such good feedback from him when he said, don't just tell
Yeah.
them what we're doing. Like help give these leaders an opportunity to buy in, help them understand why we're doing it. And
Yeah.
then let them have some ownership in it and bring some ideas, to the table as well. And we've been able to collaborate and come up with great ideas. There are things I didn't think of. And
Yeah.
then when they're having to execute, they get why we're doing it. And
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like they,
Well, and I'm sure they feel proud of that. They're like,
Mhm.
okay, I saw this from, ideation to execution and I'm like I have ownership in it, like you said.
Mhm.
I'm
Mhm.
sure that's a really great feeling for them.
Yeah,
Um,
I think as much as you can. I think some properties struggle with sales and marketing being so separate from
mhm.
operations. I did work in operations for a long time, so luckily there's a bit more of a relationship and an understanding there from experience.
Yeah.
But I think it's really important because I've been there before when everyone's like, oh, there goes sales and marketing again,
Yeah.
selling something we can't deliver. What are they doing?
Yeah.
Just taking a moment to be like, we're all on the same team, like collective goal. I'm not trying to make your life harder on the operations side. Like
Yeah.
I'm trying to sell rooms,
Yeah.
um, and like just collaborating.
Yeah. Yeah. We've talked before about my team and I how the power of just getting those key stakeholders from each department in a room together, because in my experience, I have found that often they're already working so hard to put together some type of activation or promotion for their own outlet. And just with a little collaboration, we can tweak it to really make sense for the property and then to align with the rest of the storytelling that we're doing. So you know, a new fall menu comes out. Well, the spa is running something that still feels like a summer special. So, well, let's pivot. Found a cool company that used grape seed. I'm sure you know the grape seed company in their body treatments. So we made this like harvest wine themed spa treatment that included a stay at the lounge, you know, and they were already coming up with things like that anyways. And so just communicating, getting on the same page, finding out what the teams are doing. But I really like that advice about letting them feel like they're part of it, because just being told what to do when you feel like someone doesn't understand really what it takes to keep the operation going can be hard. So just coming in with a little understanding, and oftentimes if you can tweak something to make it better for the operation, the guest is going to have a better experience. So why not?
Totally. I mean, it's hard, especially with a big property and you've got all these huge departments, to not feel like they're starting to operate in their own silos. And I know in marketing, I've had moments where I'm like, I didn't know you were doing that. Like I'd love to be promoting that. I'd love to put that on social. I'd love to get that on the website. So it's hard. There's a million things going on, and it's a lot of communication, but you know, the more you can do, you know, daily stand-ups, manager meetings, just keeping everyone communicating. And again, I think not having sales and marketing feel like this separate entity, but more a part of the team.
Yeah. Some great advice I had when I was working on property was to attend other departments' morning meetings or monthly meetings, because so much of the things that are discussed in passing or just off the cuff were like key little nuggets of information that helped us either develop a story around that or make sure we were promoting something they were talking about. And so I think that that's important. And even now, when so many sales and marketing teams oftentimes are remote, just making the most of the time that you are on property. So when you're doing your visits, just making sure that you are showing up and having a presence and being involved in what the operations team is doing.
100%.
I love that. Okay, so switching gears a little bit from the experiences and keeping the teams aligned, I want to chat a little bit about content creators, influencers, photographers. The visuals that you guys promote on your website and then that come through on social are just stunning. So tell us a little bit about what that process is. Do you give the photographers a little bit more creative freedom, or are you giving them really detailed instructions? And then maybe we can chat influencers after that.
Yeah, it's a blend. I mean, starting with social, for example, I will say that we are incredibly fortunate with our UGC. I mean, I'm like, oh my God, these guests are doing the work for us.
Yeah.
They're creating these amazing reels. I'm like, oh my gosh, thank you.
Yeah, seriously.
We're so lucky. So a lot of what we're able to repost and share is the guests are giving it to us. And that's, you know, part of the blessing of working at such a beautiful property. So there's a mix of what we do, I will say, and we can touch on it more if you'd like to. We do have a pretty robust influencer program. And then we do have scheduled shoots with photographers. We do get a pretty detailed shot list going. I normally try to like sprinkle in models. I'm going to use it, models throughout the day, which are
a team member.
are like my friends and their beautiful families. Because again, we want it to feel authentic. I hate like, the pose, like hotel corporate marketing is just bleh. That's not for us. So we just want it to feel really authentic. And so we'll always bring in like a real family and be like, oh, do you guys want to go pet the horses? We're going to take some pictures of you doing it. Just so the authenticity is weaved through our storytelling, really. So I would say it's a combination of photographers, influencers, and then again, that UGC that we are so fortunate. And I think about it every day that the guests are doing for us.
It's amazing. And I'm sure in my experience, guests love it when you repost their
Oh,
stuff, so then it's like even better.
oh yeah, they do.
So with your planned shoots that you do, outside of influencer content creation, are you doing those, like how often should brands think about doing them? Are you doing them quarterly? Are you doing them once a year? And when you do them, is it kind of a mix of trying to get updated evergreen content plus seasonal focused content?
Mhm.
Or do you really try to capture like, okay, it's the summertime. We know we are going to have to start pushing festive soon. So let's get someone
Mhm.
out here and we'll do like a mini sample of what festive is going to look like.
Yeah, that's a good question, and I wish I had a perfect answer on it. Um, I don't think I schedule shoots enough. It's something I want to do more of because I think it's gosh,
So it's a lot of work.
but but so worth the investment. Like,
Yeah.
man, that's one of my things. I'd be like, spend the money and get good photos.
Yeah.
Spend the money on good photography and good creative. Oh, and on
Yeah.
ads. Those things
Yeah.
they're all worth it.
Yeah.
Some of it, I mean, honestly, just being totally honest, sometimes I'm not as organized as I need to be.
Yeah.
Just getting back from maternity leave, I'm now in the 90-day booking window for festive. And so today I'm like, we are planning a shoot for tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm like, where are the ornaments? Let's go.
Yeah.
So often I do mini shoots scheduled based on what we need.
Yeah.
I'd say I try to get in a really big, more evergreen shoot, maybe every year or so. We had to
Okay.
do a really big one when we did a rebrand because it was like,
Yeah.
man, wipe all these photos out. We're doing a new
Yeah.
website. We're starting
Yeah.
fresh. But again, we're not super seasonal. It's not like we're having to deal with the snow. We're kind of in the
So, and
golden or green section.
yeah.
But yeah, I try to schedule shoots as needed based on promotions. We've got a lot of amazing local photographers
It's
here.
amazing.
So it's
Yeah.
easy. I can text them, be like, can you come out next week?
Yeah.
But I would say getting a big shoot across the property so you can refresh, whether it's for social, it's for your website, email.
Mhm.
It's if you have a good photographer, it's like such a worthwhile investment.
Yeah, I love that. I know we talk a lot about coming from California. I'm used to the not as big of a shift in seasonality,
Mhm.
and since working with clients elsewhere, like,
Mhm.
oh, yeah, it's going to be covered in snow in a couple of weeks. I
Yeah.
guess we need to switch all of this
Yeah.
out. So it's something I think that, destinations with four seasons, they often think about. But it's
Yeah.
great that how did you go about building your network of photographers? And are some of them trade? Is it kind of a mix? I think that's a question a lot of people have is like, okay, well, how do I find the right people? And did you kind of like test their work first or have them come out and do one shoot and then reevaluate and then, bring back the ones that can
Yeah.
understand the brand?
That's a good question. I don't think it's a one size fits all. Like you don't need to use the
Yeah.
same photographer for
Yeah.
everything. I think for your big shoots, with your evergreen content, um, that's where I'd really invest and spend more.
Yeah.
The photographer that we use, her name's Teal Thompson, and she's incredible. And our
Yeah.
branding agency actually found her. I think they just found her through another hotel's photo shoot. They really liked her work. They felt like she
Yeah.
could really capture the essence of a property. And I think
Yeah.
she did another kind of Western styled shoot. And we looked through her stuff and we're like, that works for us. She's out of LA. So,
Yeah.
bring her in maybe every 2 years when we can. And then
Yeah.
we again we're really lucky for being such a small town. We have some great photographers here,
Yeah.
and I have this one gal who's just like super fun and easygoing and go with the flow, and she's catching those candid moments. So I bring her in when we are doing event photography. Like
Yeah.
she makes people feel really comfortable. She can capture the shot.
Yeah.
Um, there's someone else here locally, and honestly, it's from networking, it's from being on Instagram myself.
Yeah.
Her family portraits are like, mwah, perfect. Okay, that's
Yeah.
who we're gonna use for that. And just kind of piecing it together and building those
Yeah.
relationships. Most everyone we do trade sometimes, whenever
Yeah.
we can, I will
Yeah.
say.
Yeah.
I would utilize that when you can. It helps with the budget. But again, for those big shoots, like, pay what you need to
Don't be
pay.
afraid to invest.
No, you
Yeah,
got to spend money to make money.
I love that. Okay, and I know we could probably talk forever on influencers and just how
Yeah.
that looks, but can you just give us a brief, like what is working for you guys in the world of influencers, content creators? Is it mostly outreach or like fielding requests? Because I'm sure you get hit up daily, if not multiple
Mhm.
times a day.
Mhm.
Or are there ones that you have identified as this is the right person? We definitely want to do outreach and have them come in. So tell us a little bit about that. And then what is the expectation? I know I've worked with clients who have had, we want this many posts, this many things, and then we want all the assets when your stay is completed. Others who say, you don't have to do anything when you're here because we want you to document an authentic stay. So we're not going to
Mhm.
plan anything. You just come and enjoy and we'll see where you land.
Mhm.
So tell us a little bit about your process and what you found that works.
Yeah, so we do both. We have an outreach, and we also have reactive.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like our reactive is more successful.
Mm.
Now there's you got to filter through it because
Yeah.
there's people who are like, no.
Yeah.
But a lot of times the influencers that are reaching out to us, they're already excited about Alisal and like
Yeah.
there's some alignment here. And I mean, the influencer program, we've had a ton of success with it. I will say what we ask for from each person, it just depends on,
Right.
are they a micro influencer? Are they a macro influencer? Um, some we don't provide like a shot list. Certain times
Yeah.
of year, let's say we're really trying to promote a family package. We're going to bring in an influencer who's traveling with their family and maybe
Family.
say, "Hey, could you mention this special in your
Yeah.
CTA?" But we do, yeah. So it does flex depending on the influencer themselves. It's
Yeah.
interesting, sometimes we'll have an influencer, they have a great stay, they take pictures, and those pictures are great only for social use.
Yeah.
They're casual images, and then we'll have an influencer who comes, and we're able to negotiate full usage of those images, and I can use them for ads, and
That's
they're
amazing.
gorgeous, they're professional. So
Yeah.
you're gonna have a little bit of both, and that's
Yeah.
okay. Um, yeah, I don't know. I think giving, it depends on the person, but I think giving them a little bit of their own creative freedom. At the end
Freedom.
of the day, they are here for a vacation. We're not paying
Yeah.
them. We just do trade.
Trade.
We
Okay.
we do not pay influencers.
Yeah.
And we're also very fortunate that has worked out for
Yeah.
us. We're lucky because they want to come here. We're not trying to convince
Yeah. Yeah.
but I will say it's one of those things where if you're sitting down with your GM and if they don't believe in it,
Yeah.
it's going to be a little bit tricky because you can't always sit there with a proven ROI unless you're giving them a code or a link, which we don't
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm fortunate. My GM worked in sales and marketing. She sees the value.
Yeah.
We feel that we see the value, but we are always, every quarter we're reevaluating the influencer program, what we're doing, what's
Yeah.
working, what's not working. Um, but yeah, it varies. Some influencers, you get some images and you're like, well, I'll never use that again.
Yeah.
Or others you're using for the next year.
Yeah. You're like, okay, gotta have you back. This was amazing.
Yeah. And we do invite people back. That's something I'll say. Like, if it works for both of us, like, let's
Yeah.
keep this relationship up.
I love that. And I think that's so smart because then you're not having to like test someone and do the whole thing. Then they already know
Mhm.
it. And then they become like almost a true brand ambassador at that point.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. We have absolute brand ambassadors and people who love
Yeah,
it and keep coming back. And it's a great relationship for both of us.
that's amazing. Okay. And so lastly, really talking about how that all works together and then how you're measuring success. So obviously bookings, that is the number one way that we are
Mhm.
as marketers for our hotels are looking at revenue success. Are there any other measures of success, especially maybe for longer term activations or anything like that you think are still meaningful, but maybe don't have, a direct line on the budget?
Mm-hmm. That's a good question. I mean, like you said, obviously with sales and trying to increase occupancy, we do look at
Yeah.
repeat versus new guests, which I think that's another indicator of success. Honestly, either way it goes,
Yeah.
it's great if we're getting new people, and it's great if we're delivering such an experience that people are
Coming
returning.
back.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so we do like to look at that. When looking at our marketing efforts, we look at social, and we have a really healthy engagement rate, and that's really important to us to understand. Sometimes people are doing social media just because it feels like you need to, which you
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
But it is important to us that we're actually putting out content and people are engaging, and it's authentic and it's
Yeah.
interesting. So that our presence on social doesn't feel so much like a brand, rather like a friend. Like they want to see what's going on in our life.
Yeah.
So that's something we look to with social. I'm trying to think of metrics that aren't revenue based, because that's
How would you do any type of measuring on like guest satisfaction for their stay? I know you send out a survey. Is that something that you look at?
that is huge. All the managers get to see every single survey. We talk about them. We send them out to all employees, highlighting who is mentioned. That's really big on us. And we look month over month, year over year, on how those numbers change, hopefully all positively. But that is really big for us. And our GM sets goals overall for the property, but also by department. So that's another major measure of success. And it's fun when you can see something you've been working hard at, and then year over year, that overall, all the guests, like that you've gone up a point, you're like,
You're like, it worked.
yeah, because sometimes you wonder, you're like, is anyone noticing this?
Yeah. No, it's such good advice.
Yeah.
Okay. And then just kind of shifting a little bit to your career and what you've seen to be successful. And um, you clearly have a love and such a deep knowledge of marketing. Is there any lesson that's really stuck with you? Maybe it was one that was learned the hard way, or something that you try to keep in mind, or maybe even pass on to people you mentor, anything like that.
That was one of your questions. I was like, man, that's a good one. That's a hard one. Gotta be honest, I learned a lot of lessons the hard way. I don't know if they're about marketing, but everything else in life.
Yeah.
I think one of my big marketing specific lessons, I worked at a property and they had this ad campaign, and I'm probably going to say it a little bit wrong, but it had a picture of a bunch of kids and it said, you only have 18 summers with them. And like, I still get goosebumps when I think about that.
Yeah.
And I think the big lesson for me was evoking emotion. I'm not selling you to come to our hotel based on data and statistics and like rational reasoning. It's all about feelings. You're selling a feeling. And I think that's been really helpful for me to not lose sight of that. It's all about the feeling. It's all about the emotion, and how can you tap into that? And part of that is really understanding who you are and who you're speaking to. And yeah, that's kind of something I always go back to.
Like, are we hitting this? Are we tapping into that?
Yeah. How does this make them feel?
Yeah.
Right? Because that's what I'm selling. I'm selling a feeling.
Yeah.
Which is amazing. I always say I'm so lucky we're not selling vacuums. Like,
Yeah.
this is way more fun.
That is like the perfect quote that I think just really embodies like a hotelier's life or mission,
Yeah.
because you are, even though you have a great restaurant, a great spa, great activities, a great team, you put it all together, and is the feeling that a guest experiences while they're there. And so that was
100%.
just perfectly put.
Yeah.
Perfectly put. Okay. And then, are there any trends you're seeing that are shaping guest behavior? Anything that you think people should pay more attention to? Something that you've noticed in the last year or so?
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of the trends I think have been pretty obvious. Like much more experience based, a lot more focus on outdoor activities, honestly, unique experiences, like whether it's a cooking class or, an art class. People want to do something a little bit different, and I think unique to the area. I think that's a big thing. We've
Something
been
you
reading.
can't just do everywhere.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. We've been reading a lot about like sustainability practices as well. That seems to be really important to the younger generations. So that's, that's something that we try to focus on as well. But yeah, I would say unique experiences special to who you are and where you are.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's so hard to look at your competition or look who's in your comp center, see like, oh, this hotel's doing this. Like, why are we doing that? But really just playing into your strengths, that you're going to be able to do it better. People will remember it more. And it just all goes back to, like you said, just staying true to your brand and who you are.
Totally. Like lean into who you are.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel that even if I was giving that advice to like a teenage girl, like be who you are. You're the there's no one else like you. And yes,
and
you
you're
could
not
say
going to be it for everyone. So just focus on you, and the people who appreciate that will come.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I could look at people in our comp site. I could look at Ojai Valley Inn and say like, why aren't I doing X, Y, and Z like them? And it's okay at the end of the day that Ojai is who they are and Alisal is who we are. And truthfully, people probably want to travel to both places.
Yeah.
And that's okay. There's time for it. So yeah, I feel that really strongly with, when I talk to my husband about his marketing too. It's just, you lean into who you are. And like you said, that's okay. That's okay.
You probably don't want everyone, to be honest.
No,
you want the people who are going to appreciate what you have and how you deliver it. So
yeah, I don't need to try to steal the, I don't know, a Four Seasons person or a Ritz-Carlton person. Because I might not be the right fit for them anyways. They're going to say, it smells like horses here.
And you're going to say, sure does. Welcome.
It does.
I love it. Okay. And then just some things for fun to wrap it up. What is your favorite time of year at the ranch, and why?
Spring, hands down. I mean, the San Ynez Valley, it gets so green. People will come here and they say, wow, it looks like Ireland. It's just these rolling green hills. I love hiking and being outside. So being around the wildflowers, there's waters running through the creeks. To me, that's like magic. That's just my favorite time. It's also kind of a quiet time of year. So I love that too.
Ah, amazing. Okay. So noted. We'll be coming in the springtime from here.
That is the time.
Is there a dream collab or partnership that you would love to bring to Alisal? And maybe it doesn't have to be brand specific, but an activation or something that you're like, one day we will do something like this.
Yeah. I mean, I have to say we've been super lucky if you're looking at brand specific. Like we've done stuff with The Great and Doen and just had some really amazing brands that I just feel really lucky we've been able to work with. Looking more at like an activation, I think there's a lot of opportunity, and I'd love to do some like concerts, bring in some really rad musicians, maybe kind of like some outlaw country, like Charles Wesley Godwin, right? Like everyone gets cowboy boots and we're under the starry skies. So that's a big dream. I don't know how I'm going to pull it off, but
got to just get the team to start building a little amphitheater, for groups and things, and then it'll just transition.
Yeah, that's one where I'm like, man, I think that would be fun.
That would be amazing. Okay, and then for me, this is always a hard question because I would always be doing marketing. But if you weren't doing this, is there something else that you would be doing instead? Something else that you're really passionate about?
I don't know. I think about that too.
And maybe this is your passion. It seems like it is.
It's really fun, I have to say. I mean, I feel really fortunate that you get to be creative and analytical. And I feel like this is this is one of the few positions, you know, at the hotel, for example, I get to be involved in every aspect. Like I get to work with the front desk and food and
Yeah.
beverage. So I do love it. If I could be doing something different, I mean, I would love to be outside versus sitting at a computer.
Yeah.
You know, I'd love to be part of like
Yeah.
an outdoor school that's like getting kids outside and teaching them, you know, about the
Yeah.
land and how to grow flowers and vegetables.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
don't know
I'm
if
sure there would be no problem filling it with your
yeah.
marketing background. So,
No, but I love what I
um,
do. It's really
yeah,
fun.
amazing. Well, Lia, thank you so much for your time today. The insights that you shared were just so valuable. I think everyone's going to have so much to learn. And if anyone wants to come and visit Alisal, where can they find you guys? Is there a good website for them to visit?
Yeah, alisalranch.com opens up to a beautiful video that shows you what the ranch is like. And
Amazing.
like I said, come in the spring. It's the best.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much. And if you want to check out more Foundry Talks, you can find us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Thanks so much, Lia.
Thank you.